Hey guys, and welcome to ThrustZone.com. This is Mohit Soni. What is in front of you finally is the Mahindra Scorpio or Scorpio-N or Scorpion, however you like to call it. It's finally here after a million spy shots on the website. It's been testing since the last 3 years. We've seen it on the road. We're finally out driving it. It's been launched in the Indian market and it will go globally as well into many markets is what Mahindra is saying. Prices start from 12 lakh rupees, go all the way till 20 for now, because 4x4 and automatic variants have not, there's no pricing right now as we do the review, but I'll try and keep it on the description, or as always you can come to the website and get to know more about it when that happens. But now since it's 20 years of Mahindra, building the Scorpio. After 20 years, a brand new Scorpio is here. It promises to be a lot, and we were really excited to drive it. We have driven it. So let's begin with the design. What you can see in front of you is a brand new Scorpio. It has nothing to do with the old Scorpio when it comes to the design, and the older Scorpio is going to continue. It's a big evolution, still not a very big revolution over the current Scorpio, because it has some traits, but that's how it's supposed to be. Even revolutionary designs are supposed to be like this, because you have to preserve the identity and impress the customer, which is you, to make sure that the iconic lineage, the design is still there. That begins with the bumper at the front. The front look is very muscular, very wide. It's not it looks very wide on camera and in real. You've got these chunky headlamps here on offer, LED lights for the high beam, and LED projectors for the low beam. You've got a DRL here, and the fog lamps also are projector units. You've got a front camera here which has a wide angle. So does the rear. There's no side cameras on it, which I'll come to in a bit. And that is the side profile. I'm pretty sure the whole idea of the Big Daddy design came from the marketing team, where they saw the car from the side profile and they were like, it's huge, it's muscular, let's call it the Big Daddy of SUVs. So clearly, because it's got a very nice stance, it's tall, the glass to metal ratio that I always talk about, I think is really well done. The doors are also big, the glass area is also huge, so that's really impressive. And that's a big flap for the fuel tank. And this is where the slight mismatch that happens with the design. The front and the side are fantastic. The rear, I think, is a mismatch, but it is what it is. And as you can see, these tail lamps here, that's a much cleaner version, look really nice. Almost feels like a Volvo XC90, but the illuminated part is this only, and when you press the brakes, this is going to illuminate. This doesn't even illuminate, so it's going to serve as a reflector. The new Scorpio-N badging, the new logo from Mahindra joins the party in the Scorpio. And since we're at the back, that's the space you're getting with all the seats up. And the bigger surprise, of course, is front facing seats on the Scorpio. This definitely helps in safety, and this will definitely help in getting a better crash test rating, because that is a very keen aspect of getting a very good NCAP rating, which Mahindra continues to get with all its products. The Scorpio should get the same. Spare wheel is mounted below. If it would have been mounted on the tailgate, it would have given it a very different look, but Mahindra has chosen it that way. Let's now get into the interior, get into the back, use the running board because it is quite tall. But before that, I want to tell you, that's how the seats go down. That's the kind of space you have at the back. It is still for kids, but adults can sit for a good amount of time. Of course, this is our first drive. We only sat in it and just to check the space, that's about it. We'll have to do a road test to understand more. And here you go. Getting inside, you might touch your head just like how I did right now, but when you do, very good knee room behind my own driving position, very good leg room, AC vents, fast charging point. You can close it and open it like this. Sunroof is not a panoramic unit. You've got a light here, which is a slider, ideal, and adjustable headrests on all seats except for this middle one here. And it doesn't, it gets a lap belt, I'm assuming. There's no 3-pointed belt in the back, in the middle seat. And yeah, that's how you sit at the back and realize that the quality is also good. There is a lot of glass area. I don't really miss this big sunroof, because as you can see, the glass area is huge. I have a very commanding sitting position at the back as well because I sit quite up, slightly knees up. A bit of under thigh support is also missing, but the moment you recline, it just becomes better and much more comfortable. And you've got the seat belts are also not height adjustable in this petrol automatic version, assuming this is the top end variant. And since we are now talking about features, let's get into the front. As you can see, seats are not entirely electric because the lumbar support is manual. It's usually seen on the side, it's here, but it's quite light and easy to operate. Getting inside, as you can see, there's a whole host of dummy buttons here. And again, use the floorboard, get inside and see the brand new instrument cluster, which is entirely new if you ask me. There is a bit of a hint of on from the previous models and a bit of XUV700 in it. Those are similar stocks. These are the controls for your voice, phone and radio. Cruise control settings are here. This button here will let you toggle through. As you can see, I press and I can see settings, alert history, drive info, fuel info. It's a bit slow to react as well. You can see digital speed, vehicle info, and that's the TPMS that is on offer. The fuel gauge, and that is of course the temperature gauge. This is a petrol version. Again, the center console is new and old at the same time because the knobs are very similar to the older version, and these switches are definitely taken from the previous car because that makes you feel that you are in a Scorpio, which is new. And you've got the concierge set option with the SOS here. The camera, let's talk about it. Full screen, wide angle, the same applies for the rear. The moment I put it into rear, that's how the camera is, wide angle, and making sure that you have a lot of view. And just like the XUV700, press the button, screen captured, stored in the image library, just like again the XUV700. That's your wireless charger, fast charging point, a normal charging point, 2 cup holders, can holders, slightly small. That's the amount of space you're getting below the center armrest, not that deep, and it's not removable either. And of course, this is a coffee brown black interior that is on offer. I think it looks really nice with the military green on the as your exterior paint and this color on the inside. It will look really impressive. IRVM, not automatic. Sound system very good. This is the infotainment system that is on offer, which takes its inspiration from the XUV700. This screen is very fast, very nice, very responsive to touch. There is navigation, there is applications, as you can see, just like the XUV700. And that's the gallery, where this is the picture that we clicked. It can be seen here. Let's go back, and you can see my drive videos, USB photos, USB videos. They're all here. And going to the home screen, you've got a radio. Like I told you, the sound system is good. The AC works really well. And that's the gear shifter. The plastics here could have been better, but the plastics here and on the dashboard and the door panels are really impressive. I told you about the Sony sound system already. Sunroof button is here, sunglasses holder, big mic in between, no mirror here surprisingly, and there is one of course here. There's no ventilated seats, no ADAS features, and what else is missing? These are the 3 things that I can think of right now, including the IRVM. And yeah, seats are very nice, very comfortable, and I think it's a really good cabin. Everything works really well. That's the new steering wheel with the new logo. And surprisingly, the lock unlock button is quite behind instead of being in the front. It's something getting used to within a minute or two after you test drive the car. The steering, you can see there is tire direction as well. It doesn't have reach, but it has rake. And you've got the power and torque as well, as you can see. That's how it works. Like I told you, the infotainment system is really good, but the screen is slightly smaller, and it feels like a Scorpio cabin because it has a Scorpio badge on it. And it feels like a special Scorpio. And We are really impressed with the interior. Of course, there are features missing. Height adjustable seat belts are not on offer with this particular variant. I'm sure there is going to be a bigger topper variant with more features, and but that will be with the 4x4 and automatic, which the prices have not been released yet. And that's it. So what is the Scorpio like to drive? Well, what we are driving here is the 2-liter petrol motor mated to a 6-speed automatic. This petrol motor, as we know, we've seen it in the XUV700, makes 200 bhp and 375 newton meters of torque. That's a lot of power and torque for an SUV which weighs just under 2 tons. It's still quite a lot, considering the power to rate ratio is also still very impressive, and that shows because almost instant power and torque. The moment you start driving it, the flexibility of any Scorpio motor has been always amazing in the last 20 years. This continues to be the same. Like I said, flexibility and drivability that is on offer in the city is just downright brilliant. We went through Pune city traffic for some time, and at least the slow roads, because we were driving in the morning, there was no traffic, but the drivability it showed is phenomenal. On the highway, it just loves to enjoy the torque, and then if you put the throttle to the carpet as well, it will downshift and shoot ahead. It's got a lot of power and torque. It does 140 in no time. For a car of this size and weight, it does that so well. We are really impressed with the petrol motor in the XUV700, and here as well it performs brilliantly, even with the heavier weight that is on offer over the XUV700. Of course, there is no comparison with it, but we're just mentioning that this motor is really good. Like any other engine that Mahindra makes, it is just flexible, practical, performance oriented, and it delivers good mileage as well. Of course, it's going to be in the single digit mark, but and the way you drive it, and again, the petrol does not get driving modes with this. The driving modes are still reserved for the diesel. Refinement from the petrol motor, refinement overall inside the cabin is really impressive. Road noise and wind noise is really well in check, but Mahindra should have taken care of the traffic noise that is creeps inside the cabin quite a bit. The windows could have been much more thicker, because again, you can hear the vehicles standing in traffic inside the cabin, and if there's a loud vehicle, then you will have to bear with it. Even the music helps, and if you're talking and if you're driving and you're listening to music, it's great, but it could have been better. That is the only part where the Scorpio did not excel, and it's not doing really well even today. So that's something that Mahindra can fix. And what else can we tell you while driving is the fact that the new chassis system, the suspension system, the steering system has received a major upgrade, because the ride quality is downright brilliant. I can't emphasize how sophisticated the ride quality is. It goes over bad roads so well. Almost nothing translates inside the cabin. It feels so damped. It's very hard for me to say this. It almost made me feel like, is Mahindra benchmarked the suspension against the Citroen, because that's how good the ride quality is. And we were really taken back on how good the ride quality is, how good the stability on the highways. We did 160 kilometers on hour on the expressway, where there was a de-restricted section. It was very stable. There was no vertical movement. Of course, there was a bit of jitteriness that was coming in because the road surface was uneven, but that too was so well controlled that we were absolutely surprised to even realize this car is a ladder on frame car. It almost behaves like a monocoque car, SUV. So that is something completely has taken us back, because again, the ride and handling also is very impressive. Body roll is really well in check. We were driving from Chakan all the way till towards Bombay, and there were a lot of fast corners, there were a lot of slow corners, and all of that was dealt with almost bare minimum body roll. From a car of this size with a ladder on frame, the Penta filing suspension is absolutely a magical unit that is bolted onto this car, fine tuned for it, and it behaves beautifully. I mean, this is the best ladder on frame car I have driven in a very long time, and trust me guys, I recently drove the Fortuner. This definitely feels much better than that. I can come to a conclusion almost immediately. I will not tell you that, I'll tell you later. I can tell you right now that it is an absolute benchmark in this segment, how the way this car rides now. The steering, it feels like, the steering has come out of the XUV 700, because it feels like a monocoque car to drive. When it comes to the steering, it's feather light, it's got very good response, it's precise to the bone. Of course, there's not a lot of feedback, but there is a good amount of feedback, and we really appreciate that much feedback as well. It's not entirely dead like a Hyundai unit or a Kia unit. It has feedback, it is light, it is very precise, and it's got good feedback. And that is something very special to achieve with a ladder on frame car, and Mahindra has done it again. The pedal bite, that always the Scorpio is known for having a mushy pedal bite on the brakes, those days are gone. These brakes are so good. There are 4 disc brakes all around. Of course, the pedal bite is not downright immediate like a German car or a luxury car, but the pedal bite feels much better than before. It feels much more predictable, much more it isn't let's say, doesn't have a mind of its own. It works really well all the time. So Mahindra has made sure that it's a practical car. It doesn't feel mushy or anything. It just feels perfect. I mean, this is one of the best ladder on frame cars I have driven in a very long time. With this petrol motor also, it's really impressive. I cannot wait to test drive the diesel with the 4x4, and of course I'll tell you about the 4x4 in a bit. But right now we are really impressed, and the Scorpio has come of age, guys. And I just want to conclude the video here by saying the fact that do not think about the features missing, do not think about anything else. Drive this car, test drive this car. You will not find any other ladder on frame car suitable after you drive this one, because the ride quality is really impressive. The suspension is very sophisticated. Mahindra is just taking the game forward, and focus on the driving part. There are enough features, the value is really good. Of course, most of you guys will be driving automatics 4x4. I don't have the pricing for that right now, but it is going to be impressive, because it's not going to be overpriced or anything like that. Given Mahindra's history, it's never going to be overpriced for at least a good amount of time. Book it, test drive it, and then take it home. You will not regret buying the new Scorpio, is what we're trying to say here. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share and subscribe. I'll see you next time in the next video. Until then, goodbye.